I-70 killer. Between April 8 and May 7, 1992, 6 individuals were fatally shot along the I-70 corridor in a series of unsolved murders that occurred between Terre Haute, Indiana and Wichita, Kansas. The victims shared striking similarities. 5 were women, and the 6th, a man with a long ponytail, is believed to have been mistaken for a woman by the killer. All were brunettes and employed at stores located just off the highway. They were all killed with a .22 caliber bullet, with no evidence of sexual assault or significant theft. Witnesses provided a basic description of the suspect: a white male, approximately 5 feet 7 inches tall, weighing between 140 and 160 pounds, with reddish or light brown hair, who was seen entering the stores before the murders. 30 years later, in the spring of 2022, law enforcement reiterated that the case remains open. In late 2021, authorities released a new age-progressed sketch of the killer, hoping to elicit new information from the public. They also revealed what they believe could be crucial to identifying the perpetrator: a description of the weapon. According to Wichita Police Detective Tim Ralph, the gun is a historic remake of an old German Navy pistol. The barrel is long enough where the gun has a wooden forearm. Eastbound Strangler. On November 20, 2006, the bodies of 4 women, Barbara Brador, Molly Jean Diltz, Kim Raffo, and Tracy Ann Roberts, were discovered behind the Golden Key Motel in an Atlantic City suburb. The women, fully clothed except for their shoes and socks, were found face down and neatly lined up. All had been strangled, leading to their killer being dubbed the Eastbound Strangler. The attack was swift. While Brador had been missing for about a month, Raffo had been seen just the day before the discovery. Initially, law enforcement had numerous suspects, but all were eventually cleared. 15 years later, in late 2021, Chief of County Investigations Bruce Shields reiterated their commitment to the case, stating, "We haven't stopped, we won't stop," and confirming that they were still actively working and re-examining information. A $25,000 reward is offered for information leading to the killer's arrest, which can be shared with local law enforcement. West Mesa murders. On February 2, 2009, a woman discovered a human bone in Albuquerque, leading to the unraveling of a crime scene of unprecedented scale. It took 11 years to identify all 11 women and 1 unborn child, victims of the West Mesa Bone Collector. Their backgrounds were diverse. While many were involved in drug and sex trades, others, like 5-year-old Silania Edwards and 22-year-old Michelle Valdez, who was pregnant, were not. Despite numerous interviews and investigations, the identity of the West Mesa Bone Collector remains unknown, making it one of many unsolved serial killer mysteries. The investigation continues, with a $100,000 reward offered for information leading to an arrest. The Long Island Serial Killer. In late 2010, 4 bodies were discovered on a desolate stretch of Long Island Beach. By the following spring, law enforcement had recovered 6 additional bodies, leading to a public announcement that a single killer was responsible for all the murders. This individual became known as the Long Island Serial Killer. The case stalled, and many criticized the Suffolk County Police Department, attributing the lack of progress to potential corruption within the department. Some speculated that the case remained unsolved because high-ranking officials aimed to suppress the truth. In late 2021, around the anniversary of the discovery of victim Shannon Gilbert's remains, ABC and Eyewitness News interviewed Ray Tierney, the new Suffolk County District Attorney. Tierney affirmed his commitment to keeping the case active, vowing to re-interview witnesses and re-examine evidence, including allegations of corruption. By July 2023, a man matching the suspect profile developed over a decade prior was arrested and subsequently charged with 7 of the murders. Rex Heuermann's DNA was found on one of the victims, and his internet search history contained incriminating queries related to the murders. Heuermann has pleaded not guilty, and as of March 2025, his case is proceeding to trial. The Chicago Strangler. In 2019, Chicago police established a task force to investigate the possibility of a serial killer operating in the city. This move followed a 2018 Chicago Tribune report that linked the deaths of at least 75 women, all victims of suffocation or strangulation between 2021 and 2017. Even after the Tribune's initial report, and despite law enforcement's initial skepticism, 4 more women were found dead under similar circumstances. Although police at the time stopped short of confirming a serial killer, they conceded it was a distinct possibility. While they claimed a lack of concrete evidence to connect the victims, the Tribune highlighted a clear pattern. Most of the victims were black women. By late 2021, the documentary series The Hunt for the Chicago Strangler debuted on Discovery+. As the series premiered, Chicago police remained silent on the existence of a serial killer, while activists, according to PBS, demanded answers. The Killing Fields, Texas. The notorious Killing Fields of Texas became the resting place for 4 women, their cases spanning decades with few answers. Heidi Villarreal 5 vanished in 1983, her remains discovered months later. Laura Miller, 16, was found in the same area less than 2 years later, during which investigation, a 3rd body, later identified in 2019 as Audrey Lee Cook, was also discovered. In 1991, a 4th body, identified in 2019 as Donna Gonsoulin Prudhomme, was found. Despite numerous suspects and false confessions, no known connections exist between the victims, and no witnesses have come forward to shed light on their final moments. For years, 4 families endured the agony of not knowing what happened in those Texas fields. The investigation stalled until the recent identification of the final 2 victims. This breakthrough has prompted law enforcement, with FBI Special Agent Richard Renneson, to renew their appeal to the public. Anything anyone in the public knows, no matter how small they think it is, we really want them to come forward, because it may be very significant to us. The Manchester Pusher. Between 2007 and 2015, 85 bodies were recovered from Manchester's waterways, sparking questions from Birmingham University professor Craig Jackson in 2015. Jackson suggested a serial killer might be responsible for the unusually high number of deaths, most of which were officially ruled as suicides. This theory gained traction and was explored in a television documentary, leading many grieving families to fear their loved ones were victims of murder rather than suicide. Law enforcement maintains that there is no serial killer, stating that 44 of the 72 men examined had clear findings regarding their cause of death, and no survivors of attacks have come forward. The Greater Manchester Police explicitly denied the existence of a serial killer. However, the Manchester Pusher case remained a significant concern for residents, and a 2022 documentary revisited the claims of a serial killer versus the counter-arguments that it's merely a myth. Highway of Tears. British Columbia's Yellowhead Highway 16, a 450-mile stretch connecting the isolated communities of Prince George and Prince Rupert, has been the site of numerous unsolved murders since 1969. This route, primarily forested and with limited cellular service, has become known as the Highway of Tears. Gloria Levine Moody, a 26-year-old woman who vanished in 1969, is believed to be the first victim. While the Royal Canadian Mounted Police's E-Pana Task Force, established in 2005, officially recognises 18 victims, Indigenous communities in BC estimate that the number of missing and murdered Indigenous women and girls could be as high as 80. For over 50 years, authorities have been unable to apprehend those responsible for these killings, many of which involve hitchhiking First Nation women. The most recent death linked to the Highway of Tears is that of Chelsea Quaw, whose remains were discovered near Highway 16 in November 2023, close to Prince George.